Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. I hope everybody is doing well on this Thursday, the 22nd, the 22nd of January. I don't even know what day it is. We are in the thick of things in the Brendan Banfield Au Pair affair trial. We are on day 7. The defense is in their second day of testimony. What's going to happen today? Who are we going to have? I assume that we're going to bring back their private eye, Mr. Harry Ledisky. He was witness number 5, and then they had to backtrack and put on witness number 4, the detective, because they didn't put his report into evidence. I don't know. I was watching The Lawyer You Know last night, and I was inquiring with him, and I posted a whole bunch of messages to him. If you didn't watch it, you can see I did it under my other account, which is LawNerd123, and he didn't think it was a big deal. So am I making a big deal out of it? I don't know. I thought it was a big deal. I just thought it was a waste of time. Court is always about time. Let me know in the comments what you think, if whether or not this defense attorney is doing a great job, or you think he's got to go. So we did 5, then we went back to 4. So I think we're going to go back to 5 again. I don't know how to classify that. So with further ado, here we go. And we have a lot of Zoom room because I'm a little bit late, and we're going to put this at 1.5 speed. So here we go.
For the jury, or do we have any preliminary matters?
I have that I
Yes.
wanted to take up relating to some of the evidentiary stuff we did yesterday. May we approach?
Okay, sure.
All right. So they're approaching. So let's I didn't mean to do that. So we're not privy to that. So we're just gonna zoom. All right. We got a dude on the stand, and we're gonna hike this up to 1.5 because, dude, we'll see how this goes. We have closed captioning on.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my understanding from Deputy Johnson that all of you are available for tomorrow. Is that correct for testimony? All right, perfect. All right, your next witness.
Officer Casanova.
Okay, so they usually have Fridays off. And if you can recall, yesterday she asked the jury, first of all, to come in early today and then stay late. And then as well as they're going to be in on Friday, I guess they're going to have a snowstorm. So we don't even know what next week is going to take place for them. So.
Officer Casanova.
Okay, Officer Casanova.
Is going to be released if it isn't already.
It is. There's no
Okay, thank you.
It's fine.
Okay. Technically, this is 6.
Thank you.
And if it goes too fast, we'll go back. But we'll see how this goes.
Morning, Officer Casanova. Morning. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, but the first question is I wanted you to identify the picture that's in front of you. Do you see a picture?
I have a blank screen.
Who are you? Oh my gosh. Some person named Casanova. Why didn't he say state your name for the record and who you are? Okay. I'm going to have to put this down. Let's do 1.25. See how this goes.
Okay.
Now I have a picture.
Okay. Is there any way, based upon just that snapshot of your body cam video, as to whether this is your video?
I can't say for certain.
Okay, let me move forward. And just stop me if you see anything that makes it clear it's you.
This does appear to be my video. I recognize my watch.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
You have to identify it.
Oh, sorry, Your Honor. That would be identified as Defense Exhibit 86, I believe.
I have an 86.
87.
87. Do you wish to have it in evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor, which approach?
Okay.
Probably because he didn't lay foundation. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Okay, I don't know. Oh, they're whispering. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, we asking questions yet? Oh,
I
shoot.
believe I check on her a couple times, but
Okay, sorry.
For the officer.
Right. Objection?
Yes, Your Honor, which approach?
Okay.
I hate taking the risk, but I do not believe that Officer Casanova goes upstairs in the house. I believe that he remains on the first level.
Is that correct, Officer Casanova?
I never entered the house.
Never entered the house.
Perfect.
Okay, so.
Judge, maybe
so-
just approach about one other thing that I might see on there.
Sure, I'm Robert Casanova, C-A-S-A-N.
Name and spell your name for the court reporter.
Sure, I'm Robert Casanova, C-A-S-A-N-O-V-A.
And you've indicated that this is your video based on your watch.
Yes,
Okay, and we're
And then I'll come back and get my stuff out of the.
going to watch this without sound.
okay.
Okay? And from time to time, I might stop it and ask you a question.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so this video has no sound and no audio. So we're just watching him watch the video. And so I'm just going to zoom because there's no sense in us just sitting here watching this. We can't hear anything. We can't see anything. So he kind of looks over.
I'm not,
Sir, ultimately, when
Okay. Now we're going to get some. Yes.
when she left the scene, was it in your cruiser or in the cruiser that she's sitting in right now?
I'm not sure which cruiser she was in, but it was not mine.
Okay, you know that it wasn't you.
Yes.
What, other than checking on her, were you given any other duties while there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Other than checking on her, which you testified to, were there any other duties that you began after she was in the car?
Yes, after a short while, I took over traffic control duties, restricting vehicle access to the roadway.
Your Honor, this is 2545. And that's, those are all my questions for this officer.
All right, so just to be clear, then you would just want 87 in evidence up to 2545, correct? All right, and that will stay under seal then, okay. All right, thank you. Cross-examination? All right.
No
is this
questions.
wit- Is this witness subject recall?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're free to go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your next witness?
Okay. My only guess for this witness is that they are showing that Juliana Magalhaes was being escorted into an officer's car. And that's what that kind of shows. So I'm not really sure because we don't get to see it. So I don't know what the intent is, but he obviously needs to put it into evidence. So let's continue on. Who do we have next? Witness number 7.
Your Honor, may I just check with Detective
Sure.
Byerson?
Okay. Detective Larson, maybe?
Good morning, Sergeant.
I'm an IB, sir.
Are you a sergeant?
I am.
Okay. Where are you
Sergeant.
currently? What's your current occupation?
I'm an IB, sir.
Okay.
Internal Affairs Bureau.
And
Internal Affairs.
During the period of time, current, good morning, Sergeant Ames.
Okay, Sergeant Ames. Sorry.
Good morning, Sergeant Ames.
Good morning, sir.
And are you a sergeant?
I am.
Okay. Where are you currently? What's your current station?
I'm in the IAB, sir. Internal Affairs Bureau.
And
IAB.
during the period of time, February 24th, 2023 through the end of 2024, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to DFS in November 2024 to February 2025. Before that, I was a street supervisor.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to have you take a look at some exhibits. The
Okay.
overhead, if I can. Karen, I'm going to use the
Okay.
overhead if I can.
It's fine. We'll switch over to that. You just have to hit the button on the top.
I'm at 1.25. We'll see how this goes.
I can, sir.
Sir, can you see that document?
I can, sir.
Let me just straighten it out.
Can we see the
Are you familiar
document?
with that document?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm specifically looking at, and I'll just put my pen in there, at this particular area. Is that something that you authored?
I did, sir.
And so the sign out is Ames. That's you?
That is me.
And this is your title here.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is it that you're doing here with regard to this communication?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the witness reading from the item. It hasn't been identified or offered in evidence.
I don't think the question was to read it.
No, it was not
Okay.
treated.
All right. I'll overrule objection at this point.
What were you doing? This appears to be an email thread. What were you doing?
Looking at the email, it looks like I received something from Lieutenant Joshua, and I was sending it out amongst the people who worked for me. It looks like I CC'd my captain.
Judge, I
And
am going to object. He's reading from the letter. If his recollection
All
of
right.
this email is such that he can testify to its contents, then certainly.
So if you have foundation objection,
Yes,
sustain that objection.
And sir, this is an email that you authored and you sent on to your colleagues. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I move this in as a Commonwealth's Exhibit number 88.
Any objection to that?
No.
Okay. 88 in evidence, and we can
Now, I would
publish
just
it
like
to the
to
jury.
ask you another question. The people that you were saying you were writing to were people that were within your section, is that correct?
It looks like I CC'd my commanders and two of the detectives that work for me.
Okay, and the two detectives are both named Brendan Miller?
Yes, sir.
And is one of those detectives the digital forensics analyst for this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and he's obviously in your section. And is this officer in your chain of command?
No, sir.
Okay, what?
Your Honor, counsel's making reference. He said this officer. I'm not sure who he's speaking
If you
about.
could.
I was
for
just
records-
pointing, yes, I won't point, sir. David Giacchio, it says Lieutenant David Giacchio.
He was not in my division.
Okay, and yet he's communicating you regarding, what is it he's communicating about?
An executive summary.
Okay, is that Brendan Miller's executive summary? Do you recall?
I don't recall, but looking at this, I would have to say.
Judge, I'm going to object to any further answer. He does not recall.
No, overruled. You can finish answering. That's fine.
You can finish answering, you were saying, but looking at this.
It appears to be an executive summary.
Okay, now, was there a particular executive summary that Brendan Miller completed that was at issue while you were there in cyber security?
There was no executive summary issued while I was there. I was only there for 4 months, sir.
Okay, was there, were you aware of any disputes with the executive summary, either within your division or another division?
I know that executive summaries are written on every case.
How about this case? How much contact did you have with this case during your
Wait.
time there?
Do you know, is there
With this case, not very much.
Was there a problem with his executive summary? Answer the question.
Contact at all, sir.
Okay, and so what we're seeing is this extent of your contact?
Pretty much, sir.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to take 87 off, and I'm going to have you look at,
Judge, I believe that was 88.
I'm sorry.
Is that correct? He referenced 87.
Oh, sorry.
That was
Did I
You
say-
just did 88, yes.
okay, then that was 88 that I took off.
This prosecutor, she is not letting anything slide by. I adore her.
Right.
I'm going to identify what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 89. Can you see that email?
I can't.
Okay, and is that appear to be an email that you forwarded on?
It is.
Actually, you know what, I'll just let you tell me what it is.
It looks like Lieutenant Joshua forwarded a proffer to me,
Okay,
and then I forwarded on to my detectives and CC'd my supervisors.
okay, and you said a proffer, or are there two proffers there?
I don't know. Normally the system works where you get two different angles. I can't recall
Okay,
if that's one or two.
so you never examined those proffers?
No, I'm sure I clicked on them before a meeting, but I don't recall if it's two separate parts or if it's just two angles.
Okay, and where you sign off as Ames, that's you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Sergeant Brian Ames, all of the things relating to that were correct as of the time of this writing on
Yes, sir.
November 8th, 2024?
Yes, sir.
And you're CCing, I assume, superiors?
Chain of command. Yes,
Chain of
sir.
command, okay. And Brendan Miller and Brendan Miller are the two people that this is directed to.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now they're in your chain of command. Would that be an order that you're providing them?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Here, I move this in as Commonwealth's Exhibit 89,
Any objection?
No.
All right, 89 evidence.
if we can have that published.
I mean, yes, I guess since I'm their supervisor, if I send them that, I guess it could be perceived as a command, but that's not really the way it works. It's their detectives looking at a case.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about that.
What does the email say? Just that he forwarded to them?
By saying their detectives looking at a case, you're saying you leave the detectives alone to do their thing?
I'm saying that I had 4 months there. I wasn't really caught up to speed on digital forensics. That's not my specialty. Like I haven't been trained in that.
Okay, so you're a supervisor for the people that are trained and as
I am.
experts. Okay, and as a sergeant,
Okay, let's see. It says, guys, I will need you to watch the proffer and look at the timeline. We will need to relook at the data in context to this new information. Please let me know if you have any questions. So this is Ames to all these people I can't really see. Okay, I will need you to watch the proffer. It looks like there's two. Looks like there's two. It's hard to see. There's two things. Okay, so I guess what I see what he's getting at. He is asking, I think he's asking this detective, or the sergeant, if he was the one that commanded Brendan Miller to look back at the data to change his findings. That's where I think we're going with this, which is interesting. Interesting.
in your chain of command, do you?
I
are
just
you
said
being ordered to
timeline.
Do something by the lieutenant from homicide?
I think I'm being asked to look at this, like this is the way information sharing would happen, is we're not homicide detectives over in that squad. We're kind of, we're a support unit over there. So that's how the information would come in.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, cyber investigator, Criminal Investigations Cyber and Forensics Bureau is a support bureau for homicide?
Well, specifically to digital forensics is a support bureau for all the other bureaus when they have digital evidence.
Okay, and is it common for the lieutenants from other bureaus to communicate with you in this way, to have your detectives do things?
No, there's a lot of back and forth. Like when I was in that position, I kind of feel the calls, send stuff up the chain of command, figure out what the detectives think are best for the case, stuff like that.
Okay, so you're going up the chain of command. Is it something related to the communications that you're receiving, or is that something that you would do with every communication?
Since I was a newer sergeant at the time, it was my understanding the expectation out of my command was to link them into pretty much everything that I was doing.
Okay, in the form of, in the immediate moment you received an email?
If I was doing ESRs, like they got them, if I,
What's the
if we had a
ESR?
case that was unusual, or if we had anything, like I said, I was a newer sergeant. It was my understanding the expectation on me was to forward stuff up my chain of command. That is correct.
Okay, so this is commonplace, what these emails show.
I would say at that point, when I was in DFS, with me being newer, I looped them in on a lot of stuff.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I've moved 89.
89
correct?
is an evidence.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to have you look at what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 90. Do you recognize that? I know you send a million emails
Yeah,
a day,
I
but
send
you
them all.
recognize this
I-
particular one.
Yes, this is my email, sir.
Okay, and this, and I'm pointing with my pen, appears to be you, that's the way you would sign off?
Yes,
And this would be all of the information that's accurate as to where you were working at the time?
yes, sir.
And what about this up here? What was that? Do you have any idea?
I don't know without seeing it. I mean, based on the context here, it looks like it's a timeline
Okay.
from Lieutenant Joshua
Okay.
related to the proffer.
Do you know, and let me just call your attention to, and this is 89, correct?
That's 90.
90. Your Honor, I'd move this in as Exhibit 90.
Any objection?
No, ma'am.
90 in evidence and published?
Sir, I'm going to.
Let's publish it. Can we see?
Next to it.
Let us see. Let us see.
Oh, you put 89, okay.
I didn't ask you about, with regard to 89. Do you know what that is?
I mean, given the context of this, it appears that it's a timeline related to this case.
Okay. And I'm going to have you look back at 88. Do you know what the attachment was on 88? And when I say do you know, I'm asking, did you open it or did you look at it or anything like that?
I mean, I'm sure I looked at it, but if you're asking me right,
Okay, we didn't get to see 88. It says B1 and B3. We also need to revisit this document in light of the proffer. Please let me know if you have any question, Ames. And it says digital forensic something another. Okay.
right now, if I know what that is exactly, all I can say is I can assume that it's an executive summary that has to do with this case.
Okay.
So I mean, it looks like he's directing them to be like, hey, I don't know. Are you trying to absolve yourself because I was only there for 4 months and therefore I don't know?
88.
I don't know.
You've added Brendan Miller's, I guess, B1 and B3 they're called?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On 89, you added Brendan Miller, and then CC'd your command staff?
Yes.
And on 90, I don't see Brendan Miller. Would that have been forwarded to them, or is this just specifically for your command
That's
staff?
just for my command staff.
Okay, and so there wouldn't be an additional email to show what you sent to Brendan Miller and
Let's
Brendan
see
Miller?
90.
I don't believe so, given the context of this. I don't believe I forwarded that, but I don't know.
This appears to
What
be
does 90
dated,
say?
November 7th, 2024. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And let me
Let's
go
see
back
it.
to 89. This was dated November 8th, 2024, correct?
Yes, sir.
And number 88 is dated November 8th, 2024 as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm gonna,
Let's go back to 90. What does 90 say?
sir,
We want 90.
you
People at
see
home
that
want
on
to
your
play.
screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and same questions. Is this how you sign out?
It is, sir.
Okay, and this information is all correct?
No, that is, maybe I didn't change my, signature line at that point.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when my first day was up there,
Okay.
but that was my previous position.
Okay, and that's your email, correct? You authored that email?
It is.
Okay. And in this, just to point out a few things, November 8th, 2024, and it's to your command staff, not to the Brendan Miller and Brendan Miller. And there's an attachment, and that's the same, appears to be the same attachment as number 88. Is that I can show you 88 again if you'd like.
I mean, it appears the same, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
And this email is from Lieutenant. Who's this email from?
I object to leading, and I object to the continued characterization of the items in the email that the witness has indicated he does not recognize and cannot tell the court or the jury what they are.
I understand. As to leading, also staying leading.
Who's this email from?
Appears to be Lieutenant Joshua, sir.
Okay, and nothing's changed about his position or your position since we looked at 88, 89, 90.
Position of what?
I'm not sure why my title line is like that. I don't know. I believe at this point I'm in DFS, given the fact that I'm writing emails to that chain of command. I don't know why my subject line is different.
That's fine, as long as you can identify that as your email, that's fine.
That is my email.
Your Honor, I'd move this in as Defendant's Exhibit 91.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, I'd object. It contains statements made by a party not testifying would be hearsay.
All right.
Your
I
Honor,
assume that's a hearsay objection.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would just identify that for now.
Just identify, you don't want to put it in evidence?
I won't put it into evidence. I'll put it into evidence when I call the next
Okay,
witness.
so 91 is not in evidence. Okay, next question.
Now, Sergeant Ames, in your training as an investigator, are you the type of investigator that follows the evidence, or are you the type of investigator that follows a theory before the evidence is developed?
He is an investigator. I go with evidence.
Okay.
That was a loaded question. It was a loaded question. Who's going to say, no, I follow the theory? He's not going to answer honestly, right? I mean, okay. All right.
As an investigator, when you question individuals that may be suspected of a crime,
I know where he's going.
do you let them just tell you the story without challenge?
Objection is to leading.
All right, stay as the leading if you want.
What, if anything, do you do when
What, if
you,
anything?
question a suspect in terms of their story?
I have a conversation with him, sir.
Okay. And if the conversation isn't consistent with the evidence that you have? How do you handle
Oh,
that?
dear.
I mean, if I have the opportunity, I'd clarify it.
Okay. And in clarifying, what is it exactly that you're doing when you have a dispute with, or a conflict with what you know versus what the person's saying?
Can you ask that again, sir?
When you have a situation as an investigator that you're trained to be, and the facts, as you know them, are different than what the person is saying to you in the story or whatever conversation you're having, how do you handle that?
I mean, if I have the opportunity, I follow up and ask questions that I need to know the answers to.
Okay. And would there be any reason that you wouldn't have the opportunity if you're talking to them?
No, I mean, defendants, if you're talking about a suspect of a crime, I mean, they don't have to tell you. You can ask the questions, they don't have to tell you if that's what you're asking.
Well, I'm just asking, say, let's assume that nobody's claiming the Fifth Amendment. There's just a statement based upon what the evidence you know. What I'm trying to get at is, how do you get to the evidence to determine if what you know is correct through the person that you suspect is the criminal?
If you're asking what I do, I generally ask questions till I understand.
Okay. And in terms of the types of questions, how do you do that? Or how were you trained to do that?
Judge, I'd object to relevance at this point. I'm not sure where we're going with this case.
Exactly.
I think it's relevant to the
Think of the same
investigations that would go on in any case, in any criminal case.
I'll sustain the objection as to relevance to this case.
I was gonna ask the same thing. We're going on a fishing expedition. Right, like we're talking in general. I like this prosecutor. She's thinking the same thing I am, the same time. So she sustained it, so he can't get into this. He's got to go somewhere else.
In that
Got to go a different way.
situation that we were just talking about, would you challenge an individual or not challenge an individual?
Same objection, Judge, relevance.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll move on,
you
Judge.
keep right. Was he present during the proffer? Did he see the proffer? Which I think he said no, he didn't see it.
You've
So if he didn't
seen
see it, you can't ask him about it.
Defense Exhibit 88, 89, 90 have been moved into evidence.
Yes.
91 has been identified by you, sir. Were there any other additional communications, either telephone
Not
or
gonna know.
meetings relating to the subject matter of these three exhibits that you know of?
This has been so long ago now, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
He's not gonna know.
there quite possibly could be another email or text. I don't know.
Okay, I'm just asking if you know of something. I'm not asking for you to speculate.
I don't know.
During the time frame you were there, I think you said February 25 was when you left.
I believe it was February 25.
Okay. Had Brendan Miller, the digital forensics detective in this case, had he been transferred at that point?
I think he transferred either right before or right after I left.
Okay. Did you have any role in his transfer, whether administrative or making the decision?
No, not making the decision. I think my role was figure out where Miller wanted to go initially and just be a first line supervisor for him.
Okay. And would that include, would that first line supervisor role, would you have a lot of contact with him?
I mean, I had contact with him every day.
Okay. And would the contact that you had with him be related to the Banfield case?
If things came up, yes, I would have contact with him about the Banfield case, but it wasn't, it's not like I'm doing forensics or anything. If questions come up, I generally shoot an email at my chain of command or stuff like that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not advising him how to go through data or anything like that. It's my job was, I had other things that,
Okay, he's treading very lightly, and I'm not sure why. And I wish that he would get more direct and say, okay, so you're a supervisor of Miller, right? Okay. Did you know that do you know of the conflict that Miller had in reference to this changing the timeline? Do you know why Miller wanted to be transferred? Like, why isn't he going direct into that? I don't know why we're dancing around this.
I was doing budgets and distributing cases, new cases coming in.
Okay. Did you have anything, were you a decision maker in his transfer?
No.
Do you have any idea why he was transferred?
Right.
I wasn't brought into those conversations. I pretty much was told that the decision had been made, not.
Who told you?
Involved in this.
Okay. And was there anything that you were told about the decision that was made?
Not that I can remember. I mean, there was, right, it's a police department. There's rumors going around, but I don't know what would
Yeah, we
make
don't,
the difference. I don't know where the rumors would stop and what, I don't think I was told specifically
Okay.
why he was being transferred.
okay. Well, I don't want to put you in that spot. So if you don't know. Were you aware of how the experience that Brendan Miller had? The one that was transferred?
I knew that he was a, I can't think of the terminology, certified, yes, I know that Miller is experienced.
Okay. And he'd been there for how long, do you think, prior to you leaving, or prior to him being transferred?
I don't know.
Okay. In terms of your making the decisions of assignment of cases, where would he be in the decision process for you?
I don't know what you're asking, sir.
Would he be one of the more experienced ones that you would assign to, or one of the less experienced ones?
The other Miller was kind of the person who I bounced what we were going to do. He was the other Miller was the more senior Miller on the squad, so I bounced most of my decisions off of him.
Okay, and then he'd assist you with that?
He would, yes, he would assist me in that.
And do you know how long he had been in the digital forensic section?
No,
Okay,
I know it was a while, but I don't know.
okay. Judge, I don't have any further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
I'm going to leave 91 there, if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
I do. There were so many more questions. Okay. Who told you that he was going to be transferred? Did they tell you why he was going to be transferred? Did B. Miller talk to you about being transferred? Was there any discussion from anyone about conflicts with this timeline? Why are we dancing around it? Why?
Good morning. How are you?
Morning, how you doing?
I don't know.
All right. So just so we're clear, you weren't in digital forensics very long, correct?
I was not.
Okay. And you didn't get involved in any of the actual digital forensics involved in this case, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you weren't involved in Detective Miller's transfer,
No, ma'am.
and you weren't involved in Detective Miller's work on this case, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. These emails you've been shown, you just passed them on. Is that correct?
That is correct.
They didn't require any specific action of you, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And those requests were to examine the evidence in this case in the context of new evidence that had been received. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
Did you direct anyone to change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, any redirect?
Sir, I appreciate your answers. Did you feel as though anyone was suggesting that you distorted, changed, or did anything to evidence based upon these emails?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further
Is he subject to recall?
No, Your Honor.
No,
All
ma'am.
right, you're free to go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Your next witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me?
Detective.
Okay. I really like this prosecutor. She just has now mind you, it's cross. So she gets to ask sort of more direct questions. Well, she can ask leading questions, but she asks the direct questions you want to know, right? Because it was implied that in these emails, he was directing people to do things. And he basically was just passing of the buck, right? Here's this, look at this. Here's this, look at this. Sort of like Michael Morrissey in the Karen Reed case where he's like, send card, because he goes to the obituaries and he's telling, I don't know, his secretary or somebody to send a card to somebody who passed away, right? Send card. Card. That's what it reminds me of. So the defense was doing good, and then the prosecutor just obliterated it. So I don't know. Tell me how you feel. All right, let's continue.
Rita Smith.
Detective Smith?
Detective Smith. Okay, we are on witness number 8.
You swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Good morning, Detective
Good morning.
Smith. Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Leah Smith, Leahsmith.
And what division in the Fairfax County Police are you currently in?
Homicide.
Okay, and were you in homicide during the time of February 24, 2023?
I was.
Okay, so you're familiar with this case, and the Banfield case, and the Juliana Perez Magalhaes case?
I am.
Okay, and as a homicide detective, you're trained in certain investigatory techniques, correct?
Yes.
What are those, if you could just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
So we are gatherers of facts. We will respond to scenes, talk with patrol officers who have already arrived. They'll give us a briefing of the case. We'll identify people that we need to talk to, places we need to go, and gather other information and track down what information we have gotten, and if we need surveillance video or go to stores and track back movements, identify people to talk to. We'll canvass a neighborhood. We'll talk with crime scene to figure out what needs to be done in their capacity and how that will work in our capacity. We will just gather all the information that we can and put together to the best of our ability what happened in a particular incident.
And how do the theories of cases emanate from an investigation?
So the best course of action when you're investigating a case is to collect facts and information. You don't have theories to begin with. You have an open mind going into it because you don't know what happened. And then you try to gather all of the information so that it gives you a clearer picture as to what happened.
And in terms of gathering the information in order to get a clearer picture for, I guess, the entire squad, what mechanisms do you utilize in order to make sure everybody's on the same page?
We discuss what we've done, who we've talked to, what information we have gathered or captured. If crime scene will let us know what they have. We usually have a detective who is with crime scene as they're doing their work, and they'll pass on information. If we have other entities doing work on our behalf or assisting us in any way, they'll provide information, and then that will be discussed amongst the squad so that we all have a full picture of what we know.
So beginning with February 24th, 2023, had you developed any theories on that day based upon what you saw at the crime scene?
No.
Okay. Give the ladies and gentlemen of the jury as to kind of what the timeline is for any theories that you may have had.
Personally?
Yes, as an investigator.
So I did not, and don't have or don't create theories as I'm investigating a case until I have all of the evidence that we can collect. And even then, a theory of the case and how it's going to be presented in court is really something the Commonwealth's attorney is going to do. They're the ones who are going to present it. So we will give them all of the facts and all the information that we have, and whatever theory that's going to come from that is something that they're going to present to it. We do make a determination if there is probable cause to get warrants for somebody in a case. So in this particular case, I did not have a conclusion until we had all of the evidence in the room,
Okay.
the blood evidence and all of that, so that was really understood.
And, okay. What was the time frame on acquiring all of that information in order to potentially have theories? If you were
Those pieces of Those
Silly theories.
pieces
She's
came
like,
in toward
"You
the
don't do
very
theories."
end of the investigation, a full understanding of the sequence of events that we could tell and understand in the room that came toward the very end.
Okay. But in terms of the hard evidence that's done, like DNA, fingerprints, digital forensics, when is the evidence available in order to arrive at conclusions or rule things out or any of those sorts of things?
That's a sliding situation. So things are submitted to the lab and you might get information and lab sheets back in different times. It's not all given to us at once. And so having that portion of the investigation, you might submit something and then realize that you need to submit more things, or the lab will only take a certain number of things, and then you do a second submission. So then your lab sheets will come in as they come in, kind of in a longer time period.
In the decision process amongst the homicide investigators,
Okay, I'm going to pause there. She made a very interesting statement, and I didn't quite understand this. I didn't know that they will only accept so many things. I mean, now, mind you, they do get backlogged with whatever cases and stuff that are going on. So I did see, what was it? The case. Yeah, in Brian Walsh's case, they didn't submit everything. They only submitted certain items. And that's sort of like the defense's big bombshell. Well, why didn't you submit this? Well, there could be a variety of reasons, right? You know that it's not going to be viable. It's not going to give you anything. Like they were talking about the carpet samples in this case. They're so saturated, it's not going to give you, where it came from. It already gives you the answer, I guess, is what it is. You don't need to submit it for an answer. You already know where it came from. So that's interesting. So that was, I learned something. I'm going to back it up so that we can hear his question again. Cut him off.
Submit something and then realize that you need to submit more things, or the lab will only take a certain number of things, and then you do a second submission. So then your lab sheets will come in as they come in, kind of in a longer time period.
in the decision process amongst the homicide investigators, is that just within the room of homicide, the actual investigators? Let me see if I can articulate that a little better. You've just described the gathering of evidence and the discussions. Would that be with the homicide detectives? Or who else would be included in that?
It could be anybody who's involved in the investigation. We do briefings with all the entities that are part of it. So it could be computer forensics, it could be crime scene. Our supervisors are there. If we're having, so it could be different meetings over the time period of the investigations. There might be different people who are present during those discussions.
And is it, would you describe the homicide group as being the investigators and the supervisors in another way?
The homicide detectives are the investigators, yes.
Okay, and just so it's clear for the jury, the chain of command going up the supervisors, they're not investigators, correct?
They are not investigators, they're supervisors.
Okay. Did there come a time when supervisors were suggesting theories to the homicide investigators in this case?
So we had a briefing within the first week of the incident where we were discussing everything that everybody had done and the information that was collected. And our supervisor at the time told us there were two theories in the case and we needed to get behind the right one.
Who was the supervisor?
Lieutenant
Yeah.
Smith,
Okay. Who was in the room?
the homicide investigators, the detectives.
Okay, were there any other people?
I don't recall if there were victim services or advocates or our crime analyst or others who might be there during a briefing when we have just had an incident.
Was one of those theories catfishing?
It wasn't stated what the theory was. It just said there were two theories and you need to get behind the right one.
Okay, at some point in order to get behind it, you had to know what it was. When did you find out?
I'm not sure who said exactly that it was catfishing, that was what it was. That's just what I had begun to understand and hear from other people.
Now, did you or any of your, well, actually, I can only ask you, what, if anything, did you do given what you just testified to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about your methodology, what, if anything, did you do or say after hearing that?
I told Lieutenant Smuck in the room full of investigators that at this point in time, nobody should have a theory in the case, that we are still at the very beginning and we should only be investigating and gathering facts and information.
And how was that received?
There was no response.
Okay, so she said they shouldn't have theories.
And did this meeting end, did the conflict between your statement and the theory that was sitting out there continue in conflict after this meeting? Like in future meetings?
I would say that the investigators on this case knew to investigate with an open mind, even though that might not be along the lines of what the supervisors might have wanted us to look at, how the case to investigate a particular line.
Okay. And did there ever come a time, I know you said at the end of the case that the catfish theory went away?
Objection leading, objection, facts not in evidence.
That's leading us to stay.
When, if at all, did the theory of catfishing go away from this case?
I don't know.
Was that when, well, did it ever go away?
I don't know.
Okay. And would that be for you to know, or would that be someone else within homicide?
Judge, I'm going to object to the form of the question. I don't think go away is clear enough. And obviously, we're here on a catfish
What's
theory.
your legal objection?
Judge, it form, that is an unclear question.
Overruled. Go ahead. You can answer the question.
Right.
Okay, why doesn't he just ask her? Why doesn't he ask her? Okay. Why doesn't he ask her directly? What were you investigating in this case? What were your findings? What were you tasked to do with? Was catfishing part of this?
Do you just mind repeating the question?
So what I'm trying to determine over the lifetime of the case, was the catfishing theory ever disregarded or put to the side?
No.
Was
Somebody said
there-
abandoned. You're trying to help
In
him,
the life of the
prosecutor?
case, excuse me, sorry. Was there periods of time where the homicide squad was not supporting the catfish theory?
So everything is on the table. I wouldn't say that it wasn't, we explored all options and that was always on the table.
Okay. And when was it that in your mind catfishing was confirmed or negated?
It was toward the end, I would say, that once we understood the full for the investigation, catfishing is maybe how you got to a point, but what happened in the room, in the bedroom, that is really what you need to figure out. That's the determination of who would be charged in the crime of murder. So once you understood all of that and what happened within the room, and then you have the other evidence of it coming forward and through the digital forensics and the interviews and all of the stuff, that decision was made on who to charge for it based on the forensic evidence.
And you charged Juliana Perez Magalhaes in October of 2023, correct?
Yes,
So was it concluded at that point?
she was charged for her involvement in the crime. So she wasn't charged with Christine.
Right. And so was it based upon her recantation that Brendan Banfield was charged?
No,
In terms of the catfish theory,
No.
actually, strike that, Judge. I don't have any further questions, Your
All
Honor.
right, cross-examination.
Good morning, Detective.
good morning.
So you've told us that you conducted your investigation in a manner consistent with following the evidence. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You explained to us that theories were certainly discussed, but that they did not derive how this investigation was conducted, correct?
Ultimately, no.
All right. Counsel asked you about this meeting where you were told and detectives were told that there were two theories and you needed to get behind the right one. You challenged that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did that statement impact how you investigated the case?
No,
Did you see that statement impact how your coworkers investigated the case?
no,
Your investigation was focused on who killed Joseph Ryan and Christine Banfield, correct?
that's correct.
And you followed the evidence in your investigation, and that evidence led you to charging decisions, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Juliana Magalhaes was charged because you were able to prove that she shot Joe Ryan. The evidence supported that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. Banfield was charged when? What was the turning point in your recollection of when Mr. Banfield was charged?
When we got the blood evidence back.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, redirect.
Detective Smith, were you ever feeling pressure to follow a theory instead of evidence in this case?
I did not.
You spoke out about it, correct?
Yes,
Did you feel pressure by command after you spoke out about it?
no, I did not feel pressure. I know what I have to do as an investigator. I know how to investigate, and no matter what they thought or the theories they wanted to put forward, that was not how I was going to investigate or provide mentorship or counsel to other investigators on the squad.
Did you raise that with other investigators, the appropriateness of command staff suggesting theories?
Yes,
And did you address that with the group?
individually as a group, yes.
And who was it that was applying the pressure to you?
Whoever was in charge at the time, at the beginning, Lieutenant Smuck, who made that comment in the first time.
After March 24th? March 24, 2024.
It would become from Lieutenant Giascio and I think at the time it was a Captain Bruce.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, just subject to recall? No? No? All right, Detective, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we started a little early. I'm going to go ahead and have our 15-minute recess now.
Hello, hello, here I am. Hello. Okay. Interesting on this witness. So they established that they had some theories, right? They had some theories, and she's like, I don't go off of theories, I go off of evidence. But apparently, Lieutenant Smuck and later DiCiccio, I'm not sure, and then Captain Burke. So 3 people who had theories and weren't going off of the evidence. And she's like, I went off of the evidence. Of course, I mean, she's a police officer and she has to state that she went off the evidence versus the theory, because you can't go off of theories. But he's just like, who did this? Who did that? And that's what I asked him to do. I asked him vibes. Who did this? Who did that? But the funny thing is that you're just like, name them. Tell me who did what. Name them. And she's probably like, oh, I don't want to name people. I'm gonna get in trouble. And that's, yeah, but you're on the stand. You have to say who said what. So they're taking their break. We can zoom. Guess we have lots of Zoom room. All right. Okay.
You working?
Ready for the jury?
Oh, yes.
Here we go. Witness for the defense. Who will we have? Number 9. Is it Muck, Birch, Chichio? And we'll get the which one is it? And will they admit that they had theories? Probably not. Matt Nielsen.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Can you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury your name and spell your name for the court reporter?
Matthew Nilsson, Nilssen.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Fairfax County Police Department as a detective sergeant with the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay. Were you previously in the homicide division?
Yes, I was.
When was that?
I was employed as a homicide detective prior to my promotion to sergeant from approximately February 2023 until what would have been November of 2024.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you were the homicide sergeant at that time,
I was a detective on the squad.
and then you transferred to where you are now, which is in the homicide division?
I work for the Major Crimes Bureau. I am not the supervisor of the homicide unit.
Okay,
I work for
what areas are you working in?
I supervise the sex crime squad.
Okay, gotcha. Now, calling your
Sex
attention to February 24th, 2023, were you involved actively with the homicide that occurred at the Banfield house?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and what role did you play in that?
I assisted beginning on that day with the investigation by handling investigative tasks such as writing search warrants, and then throughout the remainder of the investigation with tasks that were assigned to me by my supervisor and other detectives handling the investigation as primary.
Okay, and based upon the time frame that you said you were there, you were still there in October of 23 when Juliana Perez Magalhaes was charged, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you involved in that?
Yes, I was.
Okay, was there any sort of planning that went with that?
Yes.
Okay, what was the ultimate goal of charging her with murder?
I would say there were several goals that included the fact that evidence supported probable cause to charge her with murder at that time. But based on our investigation, there was belief that there was more to the story that could be elicited from her. And the effect of charging her with a crime was effectively a way to introduce a change in circumstances between her and Brendan Banfield that could lead to the elicitation of more information about what happened.
Okay, so charging her, keeping her in jail, the pressure that would be caused, was that part of the plan?
Yes, in terms of in any type of incident in which you have multiple people involved in the.
Okay, I'm going to slow this down because this is really good. So, actually, I'm going to go back because
Several goals that included the fact that evidence supported probable cause to charge her with murder at that time. But based on our investigation, there was belief that there was more to the story that could be elicited from her. And the effect of charging her with a crime was effectively a way to introduce a change in circumstances between her and Brendan Banfield that could lead to the elicitation of more information about what happened.
Okay, so charging her, keeping her in jail, the pressure that would be caused, was that part of the plan?
Yes, in terms of in any type of incident in which you have multiple people involved in the carrying out of that act, there is competing interest between self-interest and cooperation. And by introducing circumstances that would encourage cooperation with law enforcement over cooperation with other parties, it could change the outcome of the investigation, change the amount of information available to us as investigators.
Okay, like a plea agreement to a lesser charge and no further jail time, something like that?
There's a number of different ways that could be accomplished, or the ultimate goal could be accomplished.
And that's ultimately what happened, though. That's what caused the change in Juliana Perez Magalhaes.
My understanding is she did at one point cooperate with detectives. I was not involved at that point in the
Okay.
investigation.
Now, while you were on the homicide squad, were you ever assigned to listening to the jail phone calls?
No, I was not.
Okay. Was that something that was employed in order to determine whether or not she was subject to the pressure that had been intended?
I know that someone was assigned to review those calls, and the information learned from those calls was part of our investigation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I don't have any further questions.
Cross-examination? All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No.
All right, you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your next witness?
Okay, well, I slowed that down because that was very interesting. I mean, some of this is common knowledge, right? You've seen so many TV shows, you know that they sort of silently coerce or entice witnesses to snitch on somebody else in order to get a lesser sentence or to, get something. So we know that, but he was smooth. I really liked what he said. There was a change of circumstances between the two of them. He was very PC, very politically correct as PC. He said things very smoothly, very nicely. All right. Who's next? We'll just keep it on this speed
Your
just to
Honor,
see
Patrick Bruce.
who's next. 10. Too bad he wasn't involved with any of that, because if he was involved, he could testify to what they did. So who was involved? Patrick Roosh.
Good morning, Mr. Reporter.
John Patrick Bruce, B-R-U-S-C-H.
And you previously were with the Fairfax County Police Department?
That's correct.
Okay. And in what capacity was your final position?
I was the deputy chief
Okay.
of the Administrative Support Bureau. I'm sorry.
Yes. At some point prior to going to the administrator, were you transferred from another department to go to the Administrative Support Bureau?
Just for clarification, are you asking my previous assignment before
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I was the deputy chief of the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay. And you were transferred from there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was that of your own volition?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You wanted that transfer to the Administrative Support Bureau?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, during your time as deputy chief of the Major Crimes Division, you were overseeing or supervising the homicide squad at that time, correct?
It was one of several squads under the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay, I'm just asking about the homicide squad. You were supervising the homicide squad.
Could I have permission to clarify?
Yeah, sure.
So I was the
Permission
head
to
of the entire
clarify.
Major Crimes Bureau, which encompassed the Domestic Violence Unit, the Sex Crime Squad, Child Abuse Squad, Robbery, Cold Case, as well as Homicide.
Okay.
Everybody.
And, were you involved, or were you in that position at the time of February 24, 2023?
So at that time, I was the captain of the Major Crimes, Violent Crimes Division, so not a deputy chief.
And when did you become deputy chief?
I became a deputy chief in January of 2024.
Okay, and did you have contact or involvement in the case that we're here for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and
At what capacity?
how would you describe your role in that case among all the other ones that you were handling?
Overall, my responsibilities are similar for all the cases in the Major Crimes Bureau, to include this one. So it's oversight, it's providing advice as needed, support, guidance, and then also raising concerns in the investigative process if those arise.
Okay, were there concerns in the investigative process by you in this case?
No.
I think that's fair to say, yes.
Okay, and did it relate to digital forensics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and just to get to it, were you involved in the transfer of Detective Miller from digital forensics to child sex.
Okay, I gotta go back. Sorry.
And
Ja-
case that kind of, that
He had
case
concerns.
among all the other ones that you were handling.
Overall, my responsibilities are similar for all the cases.
Okay.
You in this case?
I think that's fair to say. Yes, sir.
Okay. And just to get to it, were you involved in the transfer of Detective Miller from digital forensics to child sex?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so he was involved in the transfer of Miller to whatever he went to.
In fact, you at one point spoke to,
Objection leading.
All right, I'll sustain as to leave.
Ah, come on. He's just giving the tea. Stop
what
it.
if anything did you
Stop
say
it.
to Deputy
What if anything?
Chief Freed about Brandon Miller to have him transferred?
I had indicated that as far as I was concerned, Detective Miller was not to work another digital forensic case that pertained to the Major Crimes Bureau.
And were you
Wait. Go back.
Objection leading.
All right, I'll sustain as to leave.
what if anything did you say to Deputy Chief Freed about Brandon Miller to have him transferred?
I had indicated that as far as I was concerned, Detective Miller was not to work another digital forensic case that pertained to the Major Crimes Bureau.
And were you
Hang on. Forensic. That was for major crimes. Why?
aware of his history prior to you making that, I guess, happen?
Could you please clarify?
His work history there in digital forensics?
Was I aware that he was a detective within the division, the bureau? I guess I'm looking.
Well,
for
I'm assuming you were aware of him being a detective in the Bureau. Were you aware of his background in digital forensics?
I guess I would have to say no at that point.
Okay. Was that anything you took into account with regard to Detective Miller?
No, sir.
And so.
Why?
Is it fair to
Why?
say, or what if anything, or what if any case was the reason that you asked for him to be transferred?
It would be this case that we're here for.
Okay, and what item of this case was it that
You.
caused you such concern?
Could I actually go back for 1 second?
Yes.
I didn't say that he needed to be transferred. I indicated that he wouldn't work a case for the Major Crimes Bureau. That was Deputy Chief Freed's decision whether or not he ultimately would be transferred.
Okay, so you as the head of you're the deputy chief of the homicide or the Major Crimes Bureau. By saying that, you essentially caused the transfer.
Judge, I'm going to object to his characterization of the evidence. Objection is to form. The witness has testified that at this point in time, he was the captain of major crimes when the decision was made, not the deputy chief.
Is that correct?
I was the Deputy Chief of Major Crimes when I made that
All right.
statement.
Okay, and when you're the deputy chief, you make that kind of statement, especially with major crimes, that gets things moving, correct?
I certainly acknowledge that had influence on his transfer.
Okay, and
Why?
his transfer was classified as performance management. Do you know that term?
I didn't know that that's what his transfer was classified as.
Okay, have you ever heard that term?
We have a performance management document.
Okay, but not a doctrine that allows transfer without documenting discipline?
I couldn't comment on that.
Was there discipline associated with this decision?
Not that I'm aware of.
Were you disciplining him by moving him out of your area?
Absolutely not. I actually retained him in the child exploitation unit.
Okay, so where he is right now.
Yes, sir.
Why? Did he have problems on this case? Go back.
Calling your attention to immediately after
You didn't
the
answer.
killing of Christine Banfield. Were you in meetings at that time when you were a captain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you involved with any theories relating to the case after the killing?
I'm sure at some point.
Okay. Do you know what catfishing is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What was your
that something
theory?
that you were pushing with your homicide detectives at any point?
I wouldn't characterize that as pushing.
Okay. Would you tell them that this is the theory? Is that not pushing?
So I had a specific meeting with then Lieutenant Harrington. I believe it was in November of 2023. I was asked by the two commanders, Lieutenant Matthew Lewick, as well as Lieutenant Aaron Weeks, to meet with Lieutenant Harrington. During that time, I actually proposed 3 separate theories to Lieutenant Harrington. And we discussed those theories at that time. So there was not only one theory I was pushing, or presenting, I should say. Ultimately, I was
You were
looking for
pushing.
an objective and comprehensive analysis of all the facts and evidence in this case.
And when the catfish theory came up, had there been a collection of all of the evidence, all the digital forensics, fingerprints, DNA, all those things?
Just like with any investigation, it was fluid.
Okay. Had that theory of catfishing come out before any of that was finalized?
I'm sorry, could you go back to the things you had listed?
DNA, digital forensics, and fingerprints.
The digital forensics, for the most part, had been back at that point.
What time frame was that?
That would probably be the spring of 2023
Okay, so
to fall of 2023.
So my question is, within weeks of the killing of Christine Banfield, did you suggest the catfish theory in a meeting of the homicide detectives?
I don't recall ever being in a meeting with homicide detectives. I do recall talking to my command team about that possibility.
And who was your command team?
Lieutenant Weeks as well as Lieutenant Lewick.
Okay, and where was Lieutenant Joshua there at that point?
He was not.
Okay, but you brought him in, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that was March of 2024?
That's correct.
And it was at that point that you had decided that catfish theory was?
Objection
Fine.
leading.
All right, I'll sustain as the leading.
What, if anything, had you concluded about
Let him ask the
catfish
question.
theory at the time that Lieutenant Giasio was brought in?
I hadn't made any conclusions at that point. Did I have a strong working theory that this was a catfish? Absolutely.
Okay, and was that something that you told Lieutenant, I guess, Giacchio when he came on with you? That,
I don't ever recall explicitly having that conversation. I think he probably came to that conclusion on his own.
Okay, but the two of you were pretty close in terms of the investigative issues, correct?
Yes, we were.
You were both in narcotics together at one point,
Yes, we were.
and you brought him in to major crimes, correct?
I did. That was a collective decision amongst my command team.
Okay. And so is it not true that you insisted you had to have Giacchio come in March of 2024?
That is not true.
Okay. Were you aware that he was on the Brady list?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the Brady list for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
It's basically an indication of a time or a potential in where you weren't totally forthcoming.
So truthfulness,
It could be.
but that's essentially the basis of the discipline in the police department, truthfulness, correct?
I think that could vary as well.
Truthiness.
Ethics, not necessarily truthfulness, so it varies.
But at the time you hired him into that division, he was on the Brady list, correct?
I did not hire him.
Okay, at the time that you asked him to come in and be a lieutenant in your section.
So could I have an opportunity to explain the transfer process?
Judge, I think at this point in time, I would object. I'm not sure the relevance of a non-testifying witnesses being on the Brady list.
Oh, I think we've already
Oh.
established that if you want to move on from that.
Yes.
Okay.
This is interesting.
At the time that he was hired, he was on the Brady list, correct?
When he was hired by the police department?
No, by you as a lieutenant within major crimes.
Again, I'd have to explain the transfer process and the selection process.
March 24, was he on the Brady's list?
Yes,
Okay. And this is a 2024, March of 2024.
correct.
And has he been put on the Brady list again during this time?
Objection as to relevance.
What's the relevance as to this time?
Judge, it goes to truthfulness, which will ultimately come in to the decisions to have them involved, the decisions
But
why.
at this time, I'll sustain as to at this time.
Okay.
He's put on the Brady list twice? Question mark?
Now, sir, you indicated that you decided that Detective Miller was not going to be, I think as you said, involved in any other major crimes while you were there.
Any of the digital forensics for the major crimes cases, correct?
Yes. Why? Why?
And,
Why?
And then he was transferred.
Within weeks, I would say, yes, sir.
Okay. And,
Why? 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 Why?
What was your
Why?
basis for that?
So there were a few factors. Would you like me to expand on this?
Were they
Yes.
related to this case?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
He said yes.
Exclusively related to this case?
Yes, sir.
He said
Okay.
yes.
Was it related to his work product?
Yes, sir.
And are you talking about the executive summary work product?
That was part of it.
Okay. And so his conclusions
Let
were
him tell
not
you.
agreeable to you?
I wouldn't word that way.
How would you word it?
I would word it that his analysis was incorrect.
Okay. And at that time, when you determined his analysis wasn't correct, had you had any training in digital forensics?
I have my master's in computer forensics.
Okay, so did you look at some of the items of evidence in order to arrive at that informed decision?
So he had provided me a zip file of a Cellbrite, but that wasn't able to be downloaded.
Okay, so you didn't really review anything in order coming to that conclusion?
Well, I can get into the specifics if you'd like me to.
Yes,
Well, I'm
yes,
asking
yes.
some questions right now.
Yes,
and
yes,
then
yes.
Perhaps we'll get there.
Okay.
We want to hear
Um,
all of it.
You
A
didn't
master's. I like this.
actually check the source of his findings. with the
Objection
digital-
leading.
What, if anything, did you do to check the source of his findings, the digital forensics?
I didn't conduct my own digital forensic analysis, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, hang on. He didn't conduct his own analysis. Okay, buddy. Okay. I know you're going to get into it, but if you didn't sort of like repeat his work, like in the scientific process, right? You do an experiment. You say, yay, look what I found. Here's my published work. I published it. It has to be recreatable, right? Because somebody else might use it and then take it and then they might discover something else. So they have to repeat the process. Did he repeat the process? What was in his... Okay, we'll get to it. I need you to be quiet. Okay, here we go.
And I think you said you couldn't get into the portable case when you were given to.
The zip file of the Cellbrite, correct.
Okay. And so, what would be the reason that you would differ from
Yes,
your
yes.
expert's opinion?
Because of some of the unsubstantiated deductions that he made.
Okay, so it's based upon his decisions.
Unsubstantiated deductions B. Miller made. Okay. Oh. If he doesn't like the deductions that he made, did he ask him to go back and like recheck his work? We'll ask that. And as an investigator, if he is saying that he is incompetent, if Brendan Miller is incompetent in his downloading forensic DNA, if he is incompetent in his digital forensic analysis, does that open it up for past cases to come in and say, well, we might be incompetent about this. I have questions. Might not be answered here, but are you opening yourself up to lawsuits?
Relating to his digital forensics expertise.
So the deductions in the wrongful analysis.
Okay, so the decisions,
I wouldn't use that word. I'd say deductions and wrongful analysis.
okay. And the wrongful analysis relating to the actual digital forensics that were downloaded?
Some of them, yes.
Okay. And did you ever go over those with him in detail?
I would ask clarifying questions.
Did you tell him?
Okay, so he asked clarifying questions. Give us an example.
Exactly what it was that you disagreed with in terms of his
Right.
deductions and his analysis.
I think a
Right.
couple of them, yes.
Okay, what in
Name them.
how many? So how many were there in total?
Off the top of my head, I could probably list at least 4.
Okay, and so it
Name
was
'em.
based on that, based on your reading of his executive summary, that you decided that it had gotten to the point where he's no longer doing any more major crimes under your tutelage.
Digital forensics for major crimes cases. I retained him as a detective within the Major Crimes Bureau
understand
Child
that.
Exploitation Unit.
I understand that. The digital forensics section.
He was not going to do digital forensic analysis for any other major crimes case.
Okay. And
Name them. Name the 4 things that you had a problem with.
sorry, bear with me for a second.
How is he doing now? Is he doing well in what you tasked him to do now, or do you still have a problem with that? Detective, no, he's not.
Were you aware that his
Department
work
Chief
was
of
peer
Major
reviewed
Crimes.
outside of the police department?
I was.
And were you surprised to see that they concurred in his findings?
I have a question to clarify.
No.
Did they concur on his extraction or his analysis?
Both.
That's
Oh.
news to me.
Okay, so
Oh, excuse me. Oh, it was peer reviewed. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. Oh God, this is good.
and were you surprised to see that they concurred in his findings?
I have a question to clarify. Did they concur on his extraction or his analysis?
Extraction or his analysis? News to him. Okay. Oh, news to him, right? It's news. News to him, right? News to him. Oh, wow. I wonder if this is. Oh, I wonder if this is an ego thing. Ego. Oh. I have to get a new notebook because this notebook is filled. So bear with me for a second here while I swap out notebooks. Wow. Okay. News to him.
Both.
That's news to me.
Okay, so that peer review held no weight for you because you had already decided that the analysis was wrong.
Objection leading.
All right, sustain as to leading. You want to rephrase?
Why was it that the peer review did not hold any weight for you?
Because ultimately the analysis was incorrect.
Okay. Now,
Ultimately, stop. Ultimately, the analysis was incorrect. Why? What conclusions did you draw from this? In your opinion, why was it
In
incorrect?
terms of
John
of the
Patrick.
Cellbrite messages that you say you reviewed, what was it that was the problem with those?
Yeah.
The Cellbrite messages that he had provided,
Yes.
I wasn't able to open the zip file.
Okay, so we don't know anything about the Cellbrite messages as
Okay,
to
so
your
he didn't look at that.
decisions on his analysis. Were you privy to a printout of his communications on Fetlife?
Yes,
Okay. Were you privy to the communications from Telegram?
yes.
And do you understand how those were obtained?
Through the digital forensics.
Yeah.
Do you know how that's done?
It's essentially tied to software that then downloads both from a cell phone and or laptop or any digital device.
And did you review that data?
I didn't review all the data, no.
What data did you review?
I reviewed the correspondence.
Okay. Didn't review the data. Did review the correspondence. Okay.
I'm sorry, the what?
The correspondence on Telegraph, the correspondence on
Okay.
Fetlife, there's a significant amount of data when they download these items.
Okay.
All right, dude. Come on. Explain.
Now, are you still working as a police officer?
I am not.
Okay. On July 10th, when we were here before the court, you had just moved to the Administrative Support Bureau, correct?
I moved there in February of 2025.
Okay, so, but that's when we found out you had moved, or I found out that you moved to the Administrative Support.
Objection,
Bureau.
counsel's testifying.
Oh,
Correct?
I can't testify to when you found out I was
Okay,
moved.
on the 10th, we talked about this, correct?
Yes.
And how you had enjoyed this position and you were really looking forward to, you know, the things that happen in an administrative support bureau, and the challenge of not having, that's being in more of an administrative role than being in major crimes.
I would agree that it was a completely different assignment than I'd had throughout my entire career.
And that's something that you sought, correct?
Correct.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes, sir.
And it's something that you're really excited about, correct?
I don't know if I'd say really excited, just
Well, when you were here on the 10th, you said that you were very interested and excited about your new challenge.
Okay.
sure.
Okay. And when did you retire?
July 25th, 2025.
When did you put in your retirement?
Okay. 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 Oh, oh boy. Okay. So speculation. He didn't like the analysis of Miller. He didn't like what he had to say. He didn't like the end goal. He saw it differently based upon XYZ, right? We haven't gotten exactly what that is. And so, like, what's his theory versus the other dude's theory or whatever the outcome is, I hopefully will circle back to that. Then he transfers Miller, right? He gets a new job. He transfers himself, and now he's retired. It's a little bit young to be retired, don't you think? Did you get rehomed? Why did you retire? I'm sure he's not going to tell us the answer. Okay,
July.
we'll see the date.
In major crimes?
I would agree that it was a completely different assignment than I had had throughout my entire career.
And that's something that you sought, correct?
Correct.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes, sir.
And it's something that you're really excited about, correct?
I don't know if I'd say really excited, just,
Well, when you were here on the 10th, you said that you were very interested and excited about your new challenge.
sure.
Okay. And when did you retire?
July 25th, 2025.
When did you put in your retirement paperwork?
July 11th, 2025.
So the Friday after
Why?
the Thursday that we were in court here?
Correct.
Okay. So
The Friday after they were in court. Hmm.
what happened, if anything, about the excitement with the Administrative Support Bureau?
Judge, I would object and ask to approach.
Oh, she's like, no, we're not. Oh, what's the state hiding?
Day after the, so why did you retirement paperwork
Okay, sorry.
so why did you retire one day or put in your retirement paperwork one day after the hearing that we had here on July 10th?
Yeah.
For personal and professional reasons.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Uh-huh. Oh shit.
you're no longer a police officer.
I am not.
What do you do right now? Look at him. Holy shit. Holy shit. His demeanor fucking changed. His demeanor changed. Look at him. He's like, look, he's all red now. Ooh. Ooh. What is it? Ooh, what does it imply?
Sir, I'm gonna,
Okay, hang on. Okay, so he's no longer able to he probably has a pension, right? Right. Okay, let's go. He's got a pension, right? He's got a pension probably because he retired, right? So he should be able to be very specific now because he doesn't need to hold back why he thinks that the analysis was wrong. Oh my God, this is good. Oh God. Oh, somebody's talking.
Your Honor, I
Look
think
at him.
we have ID 91, so 92 would be the next.
All right, yes, sir.
Let's get into it. Let's go, Alonze.
You can look on the screen in front of you.
Okay, where?
Are you able to see this communication?
Yes.
Okay, and who is that communication between?
Director Fayez.
Okay, and Director Fayez, who is that?
She's the Director of Victim Services.
Okay, and was she someone that was within your command structure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, exactly where does that fall in the Major Crimes Bureau command structure?
She's part of the command team.
Okay, so would she be involved with command staff meetings?
Yes, sir.
Is she supposed to be there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here we have, it looks like a,
Counsel, if you could go back to the microphone, the jury won't be able to.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Looking at the exhibit that's going to be identified as Exhibit 92,
What'd you tell her?
do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's
Yeah.
reference to a jail call. Is that you or is that someone else?
They're responding where it says my name.
Okay. And so who else was on this thread?
I believe it would have to be based on the response of One Last Favor GI would be Lieutenant Giasio.
Okay. And so it was the three of you, and
Diasio,
you agree that's a communication that you had with all three?
Brady
Yes, sir.
violator.
Okay, Your Honor, I move that as Commonwealth Defense Exhibit 92.
Any objection?
Judge, it contains hearsay statements. Two of those individuals have not been called to testify.
I'll identify
ID
it,
it?
Judge,
Okay.
and we'll get to it later, and
All
that's,
right, ID is 92.
Oh, we can't
92.
look at it. Sorry, players at home. You don't get to see it, but they're going to talk about it. Did you write this email?
sir, do you see that on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it looks to be
many more board
3
members?
people.
That's correct.
Okay, and who are those 3 people?
Based on the text message, it would be Chief Kevin Davis, myself, Director Fayez, and Lieutenant Giasio.
And the date of Friday, October 25th, 7:32.
Correct.
Does that have significance for you?
I believe that's the date that Juliana proffered.
Your Honor, can I identify this as defense exhibit number 93?
93 identified as 93.
And I'd move that into evidence?
Objection contains hearsay.
All right, it's sustained as hearsay at this moment.
I'll just identify it,
Okay.
Your Honor. and-
Identified as 93.
Why does he keep doing the same things? But I'm keeping a list. We want to see 91, 92, and 93. We want to see those.
Sir, do you see what will be identified as defense exhibit number 94?
I do.
Okay, and is that a message group that you were involved with?
Could you just give me a second to read this, please?
Absolutely.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes, sir, it is.
And this message that you sent is on October 25th, 2024, correct?
Correct.
And the same significance as the previous message? That,
Are you saying on this day of the proffer?
yes,
Yes, sir.
okay.
What does it say?
Your Honor, have I identified this one yet?
You identified it as 94.
94, I'd move that into evidence, Your Honor.
Same
Can't.
objection.
Objection.
All
Hearsay.
right, I'll sustain the objection at this point.
Okay,
It is
I'll-
ID'd as 94.
ID is 94, thank you.
I'm not sure. Is he doing something for the record? I'm not sure. Not sure why he keeps doing this. You can't introduce this because it's hearsay. Is she gonna not object? She's on her toes. She's on her game.
And I'd identify this as Defense Exhibit 95. There are a number of people involved in this message, correct?
It appears that way, yes, sir.
And the names there, does that match up with your memory?
Could I review this as well?
Of course, of course.
I want to go back to the hearing on the
I've reviewed it. I don't recall this correspondence, but my name is certainly
in
on it.
July.
Do you have any idea who is writing in the blue boxes,
I can't tell.
even by the discussion?
Well, my issue with being able to tell is that the banner, it's very small initials.
Okay. Your Honor, I think I've identified this as 95.
That's correct.
Okay. I'll ID this and
Okay.
come back to it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. There you go. Congratulations. Okay, we're having a running list here.
Sir, I'm going to have you look at this. It'll be identified as Defense Exhibit 96. Take some time to read it.
You need a tissue.
My first name up at the top, I don't recall this correspondence.
Okay, and is that with Lieutenant Giasio?
I couldn't say. I see my first name up at the top.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move to admit that as Exhibit 96.
Judge, two objections, hearsay, and it
Yep.
has not been recognized by the witnesses having been.
Right,
raised. So
right.
Sustain the objection. It's just ID is 96 at this point.
Sir, please look at this message. This is going to be identified as Defense Exhibit 97.
Again, I see my name at the top. I just couldn't verify if that's me as Patrick and or who this correspondence is with.
Okay. Let's talk about that. PB, Patrick, that doesn't show up on your text messages?
Well, it appears that this is with somebody else, so it's what appears on their text messages.
Okay, so do you have any idea, based on the content of it, who that person would be?
Are you asking me to take a guess?
Do you know? I want you to conclude who that person is. Can you do that?
I can't definitively say who that's with.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move that in as Commons Exhibit or Defense Exhibit 97.
Same objection.
All right, I'll sustain the objection, but ID is 97.
97, Your Honor, is that
That
right?
was 97.
Okay, okay, thank you. Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify what will be marked as Defense Exhibit number 98.
What do your
Please
text
read it.
messages reveal, Mr. Patrick? Someone's cell phone's going off in court. Surprised she didn't admonish them. Please turn your cell phones off. Okay. We're going to have to speed this up a little bit because we are in the laggy. So let's do 1.25. See where we get.
Again, that's my name at the top, or my first name at the top, the initials PB. I don't recall this correspondence.
Your Honor, I'd move into Evidence Exhibit 97.
98.
98,
Same
sorry.
objection, Judge.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. ID is 98.
Okay, why doesn't he? Okay, there's got to be a way that he's like, okay, here is your call log. This is your call log. Is this you? Okay. Do you recognize this number? Is this hooty hoo, right? Okay. It's got to come in. It's got to come in. How's it going to come in? And is he subject to recall to get it in? I don't know. I don't know. Oh boy, we're going so slow.
All right, identify Exhibit 99.
All right.
Again, I see that my first name at the top, the initials. I just don't recall this correspondence.
Your Honor, move in
We can do this.
Defense Exhibit 98.
99.
99, objection, Your Honor.
99, sorry.
Sustained, and just ID is 99.
Guess we're gonna just keep going through this. Let's put this at 1.5 because now we're just doing the same thing over. 1.75, 1.5, 1.75.
Sir, can you see the picture in front of you?
Yes.
And do you have any recollection, based upon your review of the content of these messages, as to whether or not that's yours?
This I do recall. Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you the one who wrote about Klingon and Kelsey and not holding off on bringing Klingon and Kelsey?
Objection is to counsel's reading the documented evidence.
Yes.
It's not being admitted.
Just trying to identify which message.
All right, well, you can have, just point to it.
Which,
Sustain the objection.
I'm pointing to that one right there. Is that you or is that the person you're talking to?
Based on how this is presented, that would be me.
Okay. And in that message,
Who are you
you're
talking
talking
to?
about Eric Klingon, the prosecutor, correct?
Yes,
And Kelsey Gill, the prosecutor.
yes.
Okay. And whomever you're speaking to, you're saying, hold off on. bringing-"
Objection. It has not been admitted into evidence. Counsel cannot read what is written.
I'll sustain that objection.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd move this into evidence as Exhibit 100.
And again, Judge Commonwealth would object. It contains here.
All right, I'll sustain the objection, but ID is 100.
Okay. Sir, this is going to be identified as Defense Exhibit 101. Do you recognize that message?
I don't recall this specific message.
Okay. Is that, do you know if that is your communication, even if you don't remember the content?
I don't recall.
Your Honor, I'll hold this as identification
101.
before moving in.
Okay.
101. Sir, do you recall this conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know who you were communicating with?
Lieutenant Giasio.
And which color of the bubbles are you communicating on?
Gray.
And this is Friday, October 25th. Well, tell me the date. What does it say?
It says Friday, October 25th.
Okay. And what's the significance of that?
That's the date of Juliana's proffer.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll hold off and
All right.
move that.
That's
This is 102.
ID is 102.
You got the note about school being canceled?
Mm-hmm.
Sir, do you recall this message that's before you?
Yes, sir.
And was that a message that you participated in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you in the gray?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, this would be identified as Defense Exhibit 103.
All right. 103, identified.
Now,
What are the messages?
sir, in your communication, you reference someone else in the fourth grade communication down. Who is that person?
That's Director Fayez.
And Director Sally Fayez?
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, it's identified
It's
as
identified as 103.
103.
Yep. You got it.
Sir, can you see the message before you?
I do.
Is that a message that you were participating in?
Yes, sir. I'm again in the gray.
Okay. And the second box, those are your words?
Yes, sir.
And these are your words?
Yes, sir.
And do you know who you were speaking with?
Lieutenant Giasio.
Okay. Your Honor, I identify that as
104.
104, and
Yes.
we'll move in for.
All right, identified as 104.
Sir, this is Defense Exhibit 105. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And are those your words?
Yes, sir.
And who are you speaking with?
Lieutenant Giasio.
Your Honor, I'd identify and move to be admitted at a later time.
Okay, just right now it's identified as 105.
I want to go back to the hearing on July, but we're pretending to be jurors, so we don't get to hear everything. All right, let's move. Am I at one
Sir,
one
I'm
point?
going to identify this as Defense Exhibit 106. Do you recognize that communication?
He's getting red.
I do not.
Are you not a participant in this?
I don't know if I am. I can't tell.
Okay. Your Honor, identified as 106.
Okay, that's one.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify number, what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 107. Are you involved in that message?
I don't believe I am because I'm referenced in the third person. So if you see the second gray box down, it wasn't for your leadership and Bruce believing in you. I don't refer to myself in the third person.
Okay, but you don't remember it if in fact you were included in this?
I don't recall.
I move that, I would identify it as 107. 107. So those messages appear to be quite frequent and with the same group of people. Is that correct?
I guess.
I mean, would that be your, a group that you rely on for discussion about the case?
Certainly people I was in text communications with.
Okay, and the text communications that we know from what we just saw were what you told us, Lieutenant Giasio and Sally Fayez, Director of Victim Services, correct?
But there was definitely other ones where you had group people on there as well.
Right, but we didn't identify them.
I think there was one line that said Dan Spital on there as well.
Okay, was he part of your command staff?
Yes, he was.
Okay, and were there anybody else that you saw in there?
I believe Tom Harrington was on one of those
Was
threads.
he part of your command staff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and anybody else that you saw there?
I don't recall. I have to go through those again.
Okay.
I'd like to think that you already pre-identified who was who as part of your investigation, Mr. Defense Attorney.
Sir, in terms of your command structure, who was below you
As in how would it
within the
appear?
homicide? Yes.
My command structure would have been myself to Major Spital. Then underneath him would have been Captain Harrington, Captain Bobel. And let me clarify, I assume you're talking in this 2024 timeframe.
Yes.
Yes. And then the direct report to Major Spital, I think by the way the diagram was, or as I best recall, would have been Director Fayez.
And so Director Fayez had a direct report, Major Spital had a direct report,
Yes, I was his direct report.
and is that something that's put into the structure that was set up?
Could you clarify what you're asking?
Well, are you the one who's asking for the direct reports, or is it just based upon their position that they're?
It's based upon their position.
Okay. Was Lieutenant Giasio ever a direct report?
He would have then been underneath, at the way it was structured, Captain Bobel.
Okay. Was there ever any concern by the people in your command staff regarding Lieutenant Giasio directly reporting to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that an issue that you had to deal with?
It wasn't an issue for me.
Okay. Well, in a command structure such as yours, who would Lieutenant Giasio have to go to if he wasn't a direct report?
I think I'd like to be careful about the word have to. It's a command structure. So there is a hierarchy, and I would be at the top of that hierarchy.
Okay. And would you be the person who would give him permission to bypass the others to get to you?
I could.
Okay. In this case, specifically this case, did you tell him to come directly to you and bypass the others?
I did not tell him to bypass the others, but it was known that he would be reporting directly to me.
Okay. So you gave him that assignment, and then he just took it from there without talking to the others?
I actually spoke to the others. They were part of my command team.
Okay. So you then disseminated whatever he said to you directly?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Okay. Do we find that suspicious? Do you find that suspicious? Why is, I'm going to mispronounce it, Lieutenant Desasio reporting directly to you in this instance if you are not his direct report and he has somebody else he directly reports to? Do you do that to all of your officers in certain cases, or is it just this case? I want to know the answers. Oh, this is good.
when you came into your position as deputy chief, what, were you told to clean up the homicide division?
No, sir.
Did you in turn tell anybody to clean up the homicide division?
No, sir.
Were you aware of anybody saying that they were here to clean up the homicide division?
Objection as to relevance.
Overruled. You can answer.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Judge, I don't have any further
All
questions.
right, examination.
Oh, boy.
Good afternoon. So are we to understand that your involvement in the Banfield investigation was as a supervisor only?
As a commander, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you did not collect any evidence in this case?
That's correct. I did not collect any evidence in this case.
Did you direct that any evidence be ignored?
No, ma'am.
You spoke about Brendan Miller and your concerns about his work. You specifically made the statement that he had unsubstantiated deductions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Was one of those unsubstantiated deductions recorded in
Hang on, I'm going to slow it down because maybe she's getting to it. Let's go back to normal. I'm going to push it back just a smidge. Maybe not. Come on, computer, work.
You specifically made the statement that he had unsubstantiated deductions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Was one of those unsubstantiated deductions recorded in his executive summary that Christine Banfield was the operator of her devices when interacting with the Fetlife account?
That's correct.
Okay. And was it that type of unsubstantiated deduction that caused you concern?
Exactly.
Okay. Did you do anything to change his report?
Never.
And did you do anything to change the evidence that he had collected that he believed substantiated his report?
Never.
Okay. Judge, I don't have any further questions of
All right,
this witness.
redirect. I'm sorry, could you,
I had one other exhibit that I neglected to introduce.
all right,
in
do you have
my
any
direct-
objection to him? Just, he has one more.
No,
text
asking
message.
questions, certainly not.
That's fine. Okay, go ahead. It would be 108, Mr. Carroll.
108, yes.
Okay, I hope Mr. Carroll picked up on this. He probably didn't. He's probably in his own little world. But my thought or my question is, if you have a report and you're talking about the report, and even when Brendan Miller testified, he did basically say, unless I physically see you, I don't know whether or not you are using that device, right? He said, I can't tell if Christine is using that device. But in his report, he is being stated that Christine Banfield was the one that was the operator making the Fetlife thing. Is it just the wording of it? Because remember, he kept saying it was Christine Banfield's device. It was this person's device. Is it the wording of it that's an issue? And if so, then have that discussion with him and say, okay, the way that you worded this sounds like you're saying it's this. Are you saying it's this? Like, did they have a conversation about it? Or was he just like, oh, I can't believe you said this and that's not true and that? Like, egos got in the way. And so instead of talking to him about it, he's like, you're off. You can't do any more digital forensics. I feel like there's more to it than just this little tidbit she gave. Let's see if we find out.
Let me just, I'll do my cross and
Okay.
then, or my rebuttal.
Redirect.
Mr. Bruce, the word unsubstantiated can be a difference of opinion in digital forensics, right?
Right.
Correct?
I guess it would depend on how it applies.
And
In this
and
case-
your statement that it's unsubstantiated was in conflict with your digital forensics expert statement that she was in control of her devices on the Fetlife communications, correct?
Come on.
I don't know that I agree with part of that statement.
Okay, which part?
Yes.
So there was a conclusion that Christine Banfield was always in the possession of her devices. The crime scene definitively
Relating
demonstrates
to
that to
Fetlife,
be
which is what she
incorrect.
asked. The question was relating to Fetlife. Do you,
So could you repeat the question?
so you want me to go all the way back to the difference between unsubstantiated and what?
No, the part where you're bridging unsubstantiated with the Fetlife.
Yeah, that was the question that you were asked by Ms. Sands. And so what I'm asking is, you've indicated that it was unsubstantiated. I'm assuming as to the question as to the Fetlife communications, correct?
That's what Ms. Sands asked me, correct?
Yes. And so I think your answer was you were talking about generally the statement in his executive summary that she had not relinquished any of her devices. Is that what you were talking about?
Well, those are two different things. I answered Ms. Sands' question, which would be that, yes, his deduction that Christine Banfield was communicating with Joe Ryan was not only actually unsubstantiated, it was wrong.
Well, so what did you look at to reach the conclusion that it was unsubstantiated? What digital forensics did you look at?
So going back to my education and being a master's in computer forensics, you never attribute a device and or a username to a person.
Okay, and is that what you're relying on to make that point?
With regards to Ms. Sands' question, yes.
So that's not supported by any review of the items that were extracted from the 60 different devices that he did?
Well, by happenstance, it is unsubstantiated. Unless Detective Miller was sitting next to Anastasia or Taco Supreme, he could never attribute whomever was talking on those devices.
And so what your position is that you're not going to believe that you can conclude someone's control of the devices unless you have a video or you have someone who was watching it?
It just would be forensically incorrect to make that conclusion.
But digital forensics makes that conclusion.
Objection, counsel's arguing.
I'll sustain that objection.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to show you what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 108. You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And do you recall the date?
I believe that's going to be October 25th. Is that correct?
Yes. It doesn't say, but if you recall it that way, that's what.
That's consistent with my communication with Lieutenant Giasio on the date of the proffer.
Okay. And is it your understanding that he was in a separate room outside of the proffer? And you were communicating with him?
I wasn't on site. I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
You don't know personally?
I don't.
Okay. But it was while it was going on, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is this the communication with Lieutenant Giasio?
This was my communication, as I recall it, with Lieutenant Giasio.
Your Honor, Defense Exhibit 108, will ID it.
It's identified as 108.
Lieutenant Diasio, I hope you're coming up because you got lots of splaining to do. Lots of splaining to do, Mr. Diasio. What do you got, Mr. Banfield? Ask your questions.
Were you also involved in the transfer of Kyle Bryant, the lead detective?
Yes, sir.
And was that due to his performance?
Performance due to inexperience, as well as the phrase I would use, I believe he was in over his head as a homicide detective.
Okay, and so Miller, so from the group that was in place in October, Detective Brendan Miller was transferred.
He was transferred, I believe, in November.
Okay. But okay. And
For
then
you,
Detective
for
Bryant,
you.
who was the lead homicide detective in this case, was transferred.
He was transferred in January of 2025.
And that was as a result of your deciding he had to go?
Deciding he had to go.
I just didn't believe he was experienced for the homicide squad.
So you transferred?
He was transferred to the sex crimes unit.
Okay. And in that same,
Is that where everybody goes to die? Sex crimes? Because oh no, the other one was child something another. Miller was transferred to child something another. Okay. It's like everybody goes to sex crimes to die.
time frame, you were transferred, correct?
I was transferred in February of 2025.
And Lieutenant Giasio was transferred
Correct.
during the same time frame?
Right around that same time frame.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Based on Exhibit 108, did you have any questions? Since that was a new,
No, but it was not offered into evidence yet.
no, it's just
so,
ID'd.
yes.
Okay. Is this witness subject to recall?
Not by
Yes.
the Commonwealth.
No, are you free to go then?
Thank you.
All right, your next
Oh
witness.
boy. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. So remember in the beginning when the defense was like, these people were transferred out. Why? And now Mr. Head Fred is retired. If this doesn't scream, where are the people in the Karen Reed case? We have gone over the Karen Reed people and how many people were rehomed, transferred, retired, and one's deceased. I'm sorry, that gives some impropriety into what's happening. Now, does it deter? Is this sort of like a what? The word's not coming to me, like snake charmer, right? Or you're like magic trick, right? Look over here. We're gonna hide the ball over here, right? Are we smoking mirrors here? Is this detracting from the actual who did what and how did Christine pass away? How did Joe Ryan pass away? Is it just all smoke and mirrors, or does this play a role? Now, we're going to find out from the text messages exactly who said what and what does that imply. Let's see who's up next because it's getting exciting.
Giasio.
Uh-oh. Oh, defense 11.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state your name and spell your name for the court reporter?
Lieutenant David Giasio, Giaccio,
And where are you currently stationed?
the Sully District Station,
Okay. And where were you prior to the Sully District Station?
the homicide unit.
Okay. And you were
Diasio.
lieutenant there?
I think
Yes.
Was
Diasio.
that under, at one point, Deputy Chief Bruce?
Yes,
Okay. Or actually, during the entire time you were there was under?
during the entirety of the time I was there.
Because he transferred as well, correct?
I'm sorry.
Because he had transferred around the same time you did.
Yeah, I think about a month before I arrived, he was there.
Okay. I am going to ask you to identify what has been marked and introduced as Defense Exhibit 88.
It's just been marked, not introduced, but,
Sorry. I thought 88 was.
oh, 88 is, you're right, 88 is in evidence.
Do you recognize that?
Who's right?
It's an email.
Okay. And
What does it say?
what's your role in this email?
Without context, it's hard to say. I think it has to do with an executive summary that I was having Detective Miller review.
Okay, so is that the executive summary right there? Was that the attachment?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, during that time frame, perhaps you can recall, during the time frame of November 8th, were you communicating with Sergeant Brian Ames then?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and you were communicating about the digital forensic executive summary?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I think that's in evidence.
That's in
Can we
evidence.
publish that? Is it already?
It's already been published. If it's in evidence, we publish it.
Well, let's probably, I think we've read it.
Sir, I'm gonna have you look at what has been marked as and moved into evidence as number 89. Does that give you more context in identifying it?
Yes, I believe this was after the co-defendant in this case came in for a proffer. And those attachments or links, I guess would be the better term, At the bottom are links to the attachment or to the body worn camera that was used to record that proffer. There were two parts.
Okay, and in this instance, you went to Brian Ames with the two proffers, correct?
That's correct.
And was there a phone call that went along this? Where did he get his direction from?
I don't recall. I think we talked, I don't remember if it was a phone call or an in-person conversation, but after the proffer, we had a conversation about some of the forensic reports and the need to revisit them.
Okay, and the need to change them, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. Was there an attempt to update, sorry, I'll leave that there so you can see it. Was there an attempt to update the digital forensics based on the proffers that you sent?
So we had a meeting, I think it was after these emails, there was a meeting set up with Sergeant Ames and the two Brendan Millers. They names are slightly different, but they work in the same unit to go over the basically all the digital forensics and to understand why they came to certain conclusions previously and understand how the evidence was correctly, would have been correctly analyzed.
Okay, and that was entirely based upon the proffer of Juliana Perez Magalhaes?
I think it was partially based on it. I think there was some question about the analysis from the leadership, both me and above me, prior to that.
Are you talking about Deputy Chief Bruce?
Yeah, he would be one of the people, yes.
Okay, and so, well, I guess, so what you're saying is that you analyzed the digital forensics and you arrived at a different conclusion than your expert?
So I reviewed the data, and I think the data is what the data is. I think the context and how you analyze what it may mean is different.
Okay, and so you were looking at the more the conclusions?
I would say the logic used to arrive at certain conclusions.
Okay. And this is with Brendan Miller's report?
Correct.
The executive summary?
That's one of them, yeah.
Okay. And did you ever talk to Brendan Miller and have him show his work?
Yes.
How many times did you do that?
Several.
Okay. And when you were doing that, were you trying to get him to change?
Not the data, the analysis.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say change, I would say to understand what I was seeing.
Are you aware of this email?
What number is this?
This is actually, sorry, 90.
90,
And
so
it's
it is
been
evidence.
introduced, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not aware of this email, no.
Okay. I think it might have been the day before.
Well, yeah, some of it, obviously, the one I sent, I'm aware of. The one at the top, I assumed is what you were speaking about. I'm not aware of that one.
Okay. And is it accurate in terms of how he characterizes it?
Judge, the witness just indicated he's not aware of the document.
He's aware of the bottom part, I think is what he said. So if you want to direct your questions to that.
Well, I think I can ask him questions, Judge, about whether the body of it is accurate, whether it's being communicated properly.
What?
Okay. I don't think this is admitted into evidence. This is number 90. Hang on just a second. I think we're seeing something that's not admitted into evidence. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I'm not sure. 92. Okay. Anyways, I don't think we saw this. I'm not sure. Okay, Mr. Robinson and Captain Horn, it looks like. I just stepped out of a meeting with Lieutenant Giacchio. He had asked, I can't read this. All right, hang on. He asked something, both Millers, review the timeline he provided and the videos of the proffer that he provided. He would like both the Millers to reeval their work products in regards to this case in light of the proffer statements and provide timeline. He said that he will provide me with the list of the interpretations that either B3 or B1 and B3 made that will need to be rectified, explained, and revisited prior to the next court date. He doesn't believe Pathfinder is proper at this time, but will discuss it with his team and let me know. Please let me know if you have any question, Ames. Okay. We're going to continue.
If he recognizes it. He said he didn't recognize it, so I'll sustain that objection.
Do you recognize the content of what's being sent?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
The body of?
I mean, I can read it,
Sergeant
if that's what
Ames?
you're, I can read it and
Does
understand
that
it.
sound like what you said to him?
Okay. This is 90. Okay, I see it's under Ames.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay.
I think we didn't get to see it because Giaccio's involved. Okay. So,
Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify what has been, or look at what has been identified as Defense Exhibit 90.
No,
Nope.
Oh, sorry,
This-
91.
This is 91, which is
Yes,
not in
91,
evidence.
Sorry.
okay, 91.
So I'd be most interested in you looking at this area down here.
91.
Is that something that you created?
I wrote that email, yes.
Okay.
Okay, he wrote the email.
Your Honor, I move
Let's
this
put it
in
in
as,
evidence.
Defense Exhibit 91.
Any objection?
I can have the court's indulgence for 1
Yes,
second.
ma'am.
No, come on, we want to see it. No objection. No objection. Come on.
No objection.
All right, 91 in evidence.
Yay!
Oh,
Let's see it.
It goes away.
Now, I'm going to go through a series of communications where it's multiple people. And so what I'm going to ask you is whether or not you recognize the communication and whether you're involved in the communication.
Okay.
Okay? So this would be exhibit number 92.
Oh, we didn't get
You
to
see
see
that?
90, 91. Yep, 92 is. So Director Fayes is in this one, so we probably won't be able to get to
Yes.
see it until she
And
comes
does
and
that look like the
cooperates it.
communication that you were involved with?
Yes, I believe the blue bubbles are mine.
Okay.
Oh, there's texts.
We still don't have the third person, so I'm just going to identify that, Judge. and
That's still 92.
92.
Okay. So we still need 92.
Sir, do you recognize that text message chain?
This 93.
I do.
And are you involved in that?
That's my, in blue as well.
I'm sorry, in the blue?
The blue is my
Okay.
text, yes.
Thank you.
Did we get to, what is it? Is it 93? Do we get to see it? I think it
You
was
recognize
93.
that message?
question.
That would be exhibit 93.
Nope. Okay, 93. I don't know. We just was shown.
It's exhibit 94.
This is 94.
94. I
Yep.
apologize, Judge. 94.
Last one was 93. I'm
Yes,
doing better than you are.
And that's a
Because I'm already-
communication that you remember?
I do.
And it looks as though it's Patrick Bruch is one, and who's the other one?
Sally Fayez?
Okay, and Sally Fayez is, what's her position within,
She's the director of the Victim Services Department or
Okay.
unit.
is she are you a direct report for her?
I'm not sure what you're,
Am I speaking in, is she or do you directly report to her?
no, I never have.
Okay. Who did you directly report to while you were in homicide?
Well, I had, I guess, Captain John Bobel, Major Dan Spital, and Deputy Chief Patrick Bruch.
Okay. Did you have any privilege to report directly to Patrick Bruch when he was deputy chief?
For the purpose of this case, he was my primary report.
Okay, so it would
Why?
just be the two of you communicating, much like these messages?
I mean, the other commanders were part of it, but he was the primary person that I reported to.
Why? How did that come? Who were you before that? Why in this case?
Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify if you are involved in this, sorry, if you are involved in this, which is a Defense Exhibit 96, 95.
95.
Yes, I believe that's my text in blue as well.
Okay. And do you remember this day?
I believe that was the day after the arrest of the defendant.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, do you recognize this has been identified as Defense Exhibit 96?
97? We're on 96. No, we're just on 95.
96, right?
96, yes. Do you recognize that?
I do.
And that's just a direct message between you and Patrick Bruch.
That's correct.
Okay. And do you remember the context of it based on looking at it?
That was on the eve of the preliminary hearing for the co-defendant.
Your Honor, I'd move this in as Defense Exhibit 96.
Any objection?
No objection.
96 in evidence?
Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at it.
So
Do it. Do it. Do it.
You're in blue again, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Big Day, you're speaking of what you just said, which is the preliminary hearing?
Correct.
Okay, and you reference
Let's see.
Klingon? Are you
Yes.
talking about Eric Klingon, the prosecutor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he was the prosecutor on this case back then, correct?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
And what just describe for the ladies and gentlemen?
Okay. Okay. 96. Hang on. Let me refresh your. Oh. Okay. Big day tomorrow, buddy. I know. You gonna come and watch? I can't. They will kill me. Haha, maybe. Are you nervous? I'm up and down, buddy. Klingon is scaring me. Why? Because he's having a meltdown today. I've been freaking out for 3 weeks and he's just now realizing I'm right. So my thing is this is in the so oh shoot, sorry. So he's seeing catfish. Okay.
Gentlemen of the jury, what's the communication about?
Your Honor, if counsel is asking the witness to read it, I would object. It has not yet been moved into evidence.
He asked him what it's about, so I'll overrule the objection.
You can go ahead and answer.
It's about being nervous for the preliminary hearing.
Okay, and that's between you and Deputy Chief Bruce?
Correct.
Okay, were you directly involved in the preliminary hearing that day?
No.
Okay. And was that the day of the hearing?
I believe it's the evening before, or, yeah, the evening before.
Okay, the preliminary hearing was on April 1st?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you involved in the preparation? Is that why you're privy to that?
Well, I was the supervisor. I'm sorry. Oh, closer. Sorry, it sounds loud to me. I'm sorry, can you repeat the questions?
Were you directly involved with the preparation for the preliminary hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I was the supervisor of the homicide unit.
Okay, but you didn't have any investigatory role in this?
No, in this case, I wasn't involved in any interviews. I didn't collect any evidence. I simply oversaw the investigation starting in, I think, early March 2024, so about 13 months after the murder.
Okay. Is it?
This might
is
be
it,
97.
Customary
No, it's 96,
for
97.
lieutenants not to be involved in any of those things?
At the time, I was a sergeant, but yeah, I think that's fairly normal. The detectives do the investigating, the supervisor oversees it.
Would there be any other reasons why you couldn't prepare for the hearing?
No,
Were you on the Brady list at that time?
Objection is to relevance.
Overruled.
Yeah, no.
I'm not aware that anybody keeps a Brady list, but the Commonwealth has told me that they make certain disclosures about an investigation where I allowed an employee who had a brain tumor to stay home on light duty at the direction of the commander.
Okay. And so that was one instance when you were put on the Brady list. Have you been put on the Brady list on other occasions?
No.
Objection is to relevance.
Overruled, he answered no.
And the Brady list essentially, well, you tell me, what is the Brady list?
Well, like I said, I don't think there's a Brady list, but the Commonwealth makes disclosures based on opinions that they form about a case.
And the underlying finding is truthfulness, correct?
No.
Okay. Now, there's comment in here about catfishing. Was that a concern on March 30th, 2024, amongst you and Deputy Chief Bruce?
Was catfishing?
There's a comment here. I'm just trying to get the context of that.
So based on the evidence, I think that after I reviewed it, just about a month in, I believe that it was overwhelming that this was a catfish. I think the term has been used kind of across the board now. That was set up by the defendant, yes.
Okay, and after doing 1 month's worth of work as a lieutenant, you were able to arrive at that conclusion?
I was a sergeant at the time, but yes.
Okay, and describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what were your digital forensics qualifications in order to arrive at that conclusion?
Well, I reviewed sort of the evidence that was provided to me by the digital forensics people. You know, for instance, the accounts were created in January. They had never, you know, they were brand new accounts. That was unusual to me. We reviewed Christine's history. I think it went back to the mid-2000s. She had never so much as visited a porn site that we could find. So I thought that was...
I guess my question was about the digital forensics.
Well, I think
yeah.
reviewing her digital footprint, there was no evidence of that. There were 2 occasions where the co-defendants were out of town for 48 to 36 hours, and none of the accounts, the CB 920 at Gmail wasn't used, the Fetlife account wasn't used, the Telegram account wasn't used. It seemed unusual to me that that wouldn't happen while they were out of the house.
So if I can, let me just redirect you back to digital forensics.
Well, this is all part of the digital evidence, right? So
Not your opinion as to whether or not it's unusual if they're in or out of town.
Just want to
That's
ask,
not,
you ask your next question.
yes. So in terms of catfishing, that was a theory that you were pushing, correct?
That I was,
Pushing.
it's what I believe the evidence overwhelmingly supported, yes.
And you then attempted to educate the homicide detectives about that,
Objection,
correct?
leading.
All right, I'll stay in this lead.
What, if anything, did you do with the homicide detectives in order to convince them of your theory?
We reviewed the evidence many times between March and September. However, it wasn't until the co-defendant came into proffer that everybody was in agreement that the catfish was the actual correct.
Okay,
Theory.
so once again, it was the co-defendant, not the digital forensics, that caused that conclusion, correct?
That's not my
No.
opinion, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
You're, okay, I don't have any further questions on that.
Let's go back to the text messages.
Sir, I'm gonna have you look at what will be marked as 98, Defense Exhibit 97.
No.
It's 97.
97.
It's 97, correct.
You see that, sir?
Yes,
Okay. And in that, this is between you and Deputy Chief Bruce, is that right?
it is.
Okay. And there's some concern about losing the probable cause hearing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So question for, Your Honor, I'd move that into evidence.
All right, any objection 97?
Yes, Judge, our previous witness did not identify that as his information, so it stands as hearsay.
It's kind of a follow-on of 96, it just keeps going down, so I'll
I can-
rule the objection on
Thank you.
97 in evidence.
Is this communication with Patrick Bruce?
It is.
Okay.
Publish
And
it, publish
in
it.
Here, there's discussion about the prosecutor's plan, correct?
Yes.
And and are you in the blue or the gray?
Blue.
Okay. And there's something about a fail-safe that's been put in place. What's that?
We had evidence that the co-defendant may have misrepresented things on her visa application. And I think Customs and Border Protection had planned to investigate that and potentially arrest her for it.
Okay, so if the preliminary hearing didn't go well, you wanted to get a hold of her immediately afterwards.
Correct.
So if the preliminary hearing hadn't gone well, just for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the case would have been dismissed,
Correct.
and then she would have been released.
Judge, counsel's testifying.
I don't see that.
Sir, what would have happened if the preliminary hearing had been dismissed?
The co-defendant would be released.
And so the fail-safe was to have Customs and Border Patrol there to grab her?
Correct.
Okay, so come to the jail before she's released.
I think they were planning on getting arrest warrants. I'm not fully read into what their plan was.
And
see it.
Was this a plan between you and then Deputy Chief Bruce? Or was this a plan amongst everyone involved?
It was the detectives on the task force that was created, set it up.
Okay, and so who else would have known about the fail-safe?
Detective Bryant, Detective Goodell, and Detective Smith, I think, was still pretty well involved at that point.
Was Detective Bryant the chief detective at that time?
He was the lead detective, yes.
Okay, and Detective Goodell was another co-lead detective?
Correct.
And was Detective Smith a lead detective, or she?
Yeah, so essentially when I arrived, Detective Bryant had been the lead for the first year or so. I think at some point prior to my arrival, Detective Smith had been assigned to help him. And then once I got there, I assigned Detective Goodell. So there was 3 detectives plus myself that were reviewing all the evidence.
Okay. Okay, did you say in a prior statement that as a lieutenant, you wouldn't review all the evidence?
No, I would absolutely review the evidence. I wouldn't take part directly in the investigation. I didn't interview witness, collect evidence, or have any real direct involvement, just in reviewing and advocating for investigative leads.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, 97 was moved into evidence?
97 is in
Okay,
evidence.
and that's, the jury has,
That's
it's been published. Okay, thank you.
Not to us. We didn't see it, Poopy.
Sir, can you see that communication?
Yes,
Is that the communication with Patrick Bruce?
yes,
And this is from November 8th, correct?
What are we looking at?
yes,
Okay, do you recognize this?
I do.
And you're in blue?
Correct.
You're going to move this in as Commonwealth's Exhibit number 98?
Judge, I'll renew the objection that former Deputy Chief Bruce could not identify this item.
On this one, he could not identify.
I think the witness just identified him.
All right.
Correct, but the witness indicates based on the document
I'm going to
itself.
sustain the objection since he testified that he did not recall it. So I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Sir, in the blue box, you indicate that you did something. What is that?
I used the words markup. Or took a red pen. What I did was highlight in red
Okay.
on a document.
And did you actually take a pen?
No, it was the red. I changed the font to red rather than black.
Okay. And the document
marking
that
up?
you were referring to there, what document was that?
It was the executive summary prepared by Detective Miller.
Okay. Your Honor, may we approach on 98?
Sure.
All right. I'm actually going to pause. I need to get something to eat. Okay, we're going to resume. I'm going to eat. We're going to see how this goes. They're approaching on 98.
Your Honor, if I may, I also had 106.
I had 106. I put
Yeah.
that on his.
Okay, and 107. Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Sir, do you identify what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 100?
Yes, it's a text message.
And that's between you and Patrick Bruce?
It is.
Are you in the blue box or the gray box?
Blue.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd move that into evidence as
Right.
No objection.
Got
Commonwealth's
100 in
Exhibit
evidence.
100.
And we'll publish.
So what, if anything, did you do when you were told to hold off on bringing Klingon and Kelsey into the loop?
I don't remember specifically, but I would imagine I held off on giving them a call.
Okay. And who, for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who's Klingon and who's Kelsey?
They were the prosecutors assigned at the time.
Okay. And do you recall when it was that you put them in the loop after this statement?
Okay. It says, so, Giacchio is in blue. PB says, Peter says, call me back, please. Christine's blood inside Juliana's shoes and on Brendan's pants. Game over. And then meeting with task force after celebrate. We'll bring in Klingon and something after, because I can't read it because it's down.
I'm sure within 24 hours. I don't recall
But you don't
exactly.
have any recollection?
No, I don't recall, but it was definitely not for any extended period of time.
Okay, and this looks like it was something that might jog your memory. It was relating to Celebrite Task Force. Do you have any?
Sorry, I'm eating. Okay, hold off on bringing Klingon and Kelsey into the loop and make sure your people are direct, please. And let's talk before your task force meeting, please. I'm not sitting in on it. Don't worry. Okay.
Was the information that you're holding off on relating to the task force meeting at Celebrite?
I believe it was the blood inside Juliana's shoes and on Brendan's pants.
Okay, and so how long did it take for you to communicate that to the prosecution team?
Like I said, I don't remember exactly, but it would be something that I would bring them up to speed on within a short period.
Okay, but you don't remember if you did?
I'm sorry?
But you don't remember if you did?
I certainly remember that they're aware of it. I just don't know exactly what that time frame was,
Okay.
but I would guess within 24 hours.
Thank you.
Mr. Carroll, would this be a good time to go ahead and take our
Okay,
lunch break?
yes, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our lunch break.
Thanks for watching Legalese 123. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.